Good evening and praise Jesus. I'm Minister Leah. I'm born again and I love Jesus Christ as my personal Savior. Tonight, I would like to talk about another woman that I love so much, and her name is called Abigail. And we are going to see the wisdom of a woman who stopped a disaster. And we are going to see in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 25, from verse 2 to 42. And I would urge you to go and read by yourself because of the time. Abigail is one of the most remarkable women in the Bible because her story shows us that wisdom is not merely knowing what is right. Wisdom is knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Praise Jesus. Abigail was married to Nabal, a wealthy man whose character was completely different from her. The Bible describes Abigail as intelligent and beautiful, while Nabal was harsh and badly behaved. Imagine being connected to someone whose behavior constantly creates problem, yet you still have to make wise decision. Abigail found herself in exactly that situation. But instead of allowing Nabal's foolishness to make her bitter, reckless, or foolish herself, she demonstrated wisdom, courage, humility, discernment, and faith. Abigail had a good character in a difficult environment. The Bible introduces Abigail and Nabal almost side by side. Nabal was harsh while Abigail was discerning. Nabal was foolish while Abigail was wise. This teaches us something important. Your environment does not have to determine your character. You may be surrounded by people who are ugly, negative, dishonest, careless, or difficult, but you still have a choice about who you become. Abigail could have said, if my husband behaves like this, why should I behave differently? But she didn't. And lesson we can learn from this is that don't allow someone else's bad character to become an excuse for your own bad behavior. You are responsible before God for how you respond. And number 2, we are going to see that Abigail knew how to respond to a crisis. David had sent his men to Nabal asking for provisions. David's men had protected Nabal's shepherd and livestock in the wilderness. David wasn't simply asking for something from a stranger. He believed there was a reasonable relationship of protection and goodwill. But Nabal responded disrespectfully. He basically dismissed David. When David heard this, he became furious. He prepared approximately 400 armed men to attack Nabal's household. Now, the situation had become extremely dangerous. Abigail heard what was happening, and this is where her wisdom became visible. She didn't say, let's wait and see what happened. She acted. And in the book of 1 Samuel 25:18 says, Abigail quickly prepared food and went to meet David. And this teaches us discernment recognizes danger before everyone else does. I repeat, discernment recognizes danger before everyone else does. There are moments in life when wisdom requires immediate action. Not every situation needs a long discussion. Sometimes you need to pray, discern, and act. And number 3, we are going to see that Abigail didn't let panic control her. Think about the pressure Abigail was under. Her husband had created problem. David was angry. Armed men were coming. Her household was in danger. Yet Abigail remained composed enough to think this is powerful. Wisdom doesn't mean you never face pressure. It means pressure doesn't have to control your decision. Some people make permanent decision because of temporary emotion. Abigail showed us another way. She faced an emotion crisis with a clear mind. And this teaches us that when pressure comes, don't immediately react. Pause, play, discern, and then respond. Number 4, we are going to see that Abigail used what she had. Abigail prepared food, bread, wine, sheep, and all that. Notice something important. She didn't wait until she had everything. She used what was available. This is a lesson many people need. Sometimes we say, when I have more money, I will start. When I have more support, I will do it. When everything is perfect, I will move. Abigail didn't have perfect circumstances. She had wisdom and something in her heart, and she used both. Praise the name of living God. Don't despise what God has already placed in your heart. What you have may be enough to begin solving the problem in front of you. In number 5, we are going to see that Abigail had the courage to face an ugly man. This is perhaps one of the strongest parts of her story. Abigail went directly toward David. David was angry. He had already decided what he was going to do, yet Abigail approached him. That required courage. Sometimes wisdom requires courage. It is easy to speak when someone agrees with you. It is just harder to speak when person in front of you is angry and powerful. Abigail didn't allow fear to silence her. She approached David respectively. In number 6, we are going to see that Abigail knew the power of humility. When Abigail met David, she bowed before him. She didn't approach him with arrogance. She didn't say, "Who do you think you are? You can't talk to us like that. My husband is rich, or you can't do this to us." Instead, she humbled herself. Now, humility doesn't mean weakness. Humility is strength under control. Abigail understood that her goal wasn't to win an argument. Her goal was to prevent a distraction. Praise the name of living God. And number 7, we are going to see that Abigail accepted responsibility for the situation without defending foolishness. One of the remarkable things about Abigail is that she didn't spend the entire conversation defending Nabal. She understood that Nabal had acted foolishly. She basically appealed to David not to become like Nabal. This is powerful. Don't allow someone else's foolishness to pull you into foolish behavior. Nabal acted foolishly. David was about to respond foolishly. Abigail interrupted the cycle. This is what wisdom does. Wisdom breaks cycle. And number 8, we are going to see that Abigail reminded David of his future. This is where her wisdom became even deeper. Abigail didn't only talk about the present crisis. She reminded David about the future God had for him. She essentially told him that God was building a lasting house for him and that he should not allow unnecessarily a bloodshed to become a stain on his future. This was powerful because David was angry about what Nabal had done. Abigail helped him see beyond the insult. She reminded him, "Don't destroy your future because of today's defense." That is powerful word. Someone can offend you today and make you want to leave it. But before you respond, ask, will this decision affect the future God is preparing for me? And number 9, Abigail understood that David's destiny was bigger than his anger. And number 10, it also reminded Abigail didn't just have beauty, she had discernment. Praise the name of living God. The Bible says Abigail was both beautiful and intelligent. Her beauty was mentioned, but what saved her household was not her appearance, it was her wisdom.